A number of people asked about how to read multiple cards in combination with one another. So I'm going to make a couple of reels addressing this. Now, to be clear, these questions all read to me as people who wanted to do kind of open-ended readings in terms of like not using a spread, but are also pulling multiple cards. So they ask their deck a question and then they pull like 3 cards about it rather than using a spread or pulling a single card. Now, there's nothing wrong with this technique, to be clear. I do this all the time, but I am someone that is really comfortable with single card readings, and I am also someone that is really comfortable using tarot spreads. And I think that those things might be helpful to those of you who are asking about how to read cards in combination. I personally think it takes a lot of practice to know how to read multiple cards at a time when there isn't any additional structure on it. So if you're not asking each card that you pull for something specific, for a specific aspect, for a specific nuance, for a specific like insight into the larger picture, I do think it can be kind of complicated or just take time to learn how to understand what your deck is communicating to you. If this is your preferred method, then I'll definitely share some tips on how to explore that a little bit more in my next reel. But for now, if you are someone that wants to read multi-card readings, I highly, highly, highly recommend getting comfortable with like 2 and 3 card spreads. They really can add some structure and like guardrails to your question and also really help you clarify your question, because I find a lot of times if I get an unclear answer, it's because my question was not very specific. If you just watched that last reel and you're like, Meg, I want to do multi-card readings, but I don't want to use your fucking spreads, I got you. Multi-card readings can be really great ways to get additional information on your question, but you have to formulate a good question, and you have to, I swear to God, y'all, you have to slow the fuck down. Too many of you are rushing through your readings and then walking away from it feeling more confused than you did before. You have to slow down. It's not a race. There's no one standing there with a stopwatch timing you. It does not matter how long your readings take, and it also doesn't matter how long it takes you to figure out what the cards are saying. Sometimes readings come more clear in an hour, in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. That's why we tell you to track your readings. There are a few different ways to look at cards when they are showing up in combination. Some people like to look at the whole group of cards first and kind of look at similarities, figure out themes, identify like recurring patterns like similar numbers or similar elements. Other people like to go card by card and then pull back after they've spent more time with each individual card and look at the whole. But either way, you really want to think about these cards as being in conversation with one another and in conversation with you. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Your tarot readings are conversations with your cards. And so when you're reading with multiple cards, you can really think about it like an ongoing conversation where each card is an additional like, and another thing kind of thing. If it feels like cards are contradicting one another, then you need to spend more time with them, because chances are they have an intersection that you just haven't found yet.